Now, we've known that there's a couple of Lord of the Rings projects in the works, right? Like we've got the one coming from Andy Serkis for The Hunt for Gollum, which I should say Peter Jackson himself is producing, and him and his writing partners helped write it and all that kind of stuff. That's coming. Then we also heard that Peter Jackson is also producing another Lord of the Rings films that Stephen Colbert, along with his son and Peter Jackson's writing partner, have written, and the studio's now in the process of making that. But you know, one of the things that a lot of people have always asked for, and I've never understood why, is a lot of people have asked for a movie version of the Silmarillion. And one of the things that I've said for a long time is that there's no point in doing that because it is simply unfilmable. It's simply unfilmable. Like if you want, take a few aspects from Silmarillion and put it into one thing or put it into another. But you're talking about the whole mythos of the creation of the universe that spans eons. And like everything from Eru to the Valar and the Maiar and the trees and the Cimmerals and all that, like there's just, it's so much. It's really more abstract than anything else. And I've always thought that it is a book you simply can't film. Or if you do, it's going to be heavily, heavily, heavily adapted. But like it showed here, this from Polygon, Peter Jackson says the Lord of the Rings movies based on the Silmarillion are finally possible, and we could finally get the adaptation of J.R.R. Tolkien's other works. It goes on to say this. Director Peter Jackson has spent decades bringing J.R.R. Tolkien's epic fantasy novels such as Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit to the silver screen. Jackson's previous venture into Middle-earth, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, was widely considered his final trip. Remember, Guillermo del Toro was supposed to direct those. He's involved in Andy Serkis's upcoming The Hunt for Gollum, but only as a producer. However, in an interview with Deadline, Jackson now says he's circling another Lord of the Rings movie based on a story by J.R.R. Tolkien that's never been adapted before. Referencing Christopher Tolkien's J.R.R. son, who both oversaw the editing and publication of works such as The Silmarillion and The Unfinished Tales, as well as acted as the guardian of his father's work, Jackson told Deadline that there is a lot more Tolkien writing that would actually make great movies. Now, one of the interesting things about the article is that they pointed out Christopher Tolkien hated Peter Jackson's movies. Hated them. I think he used some pretty bad words for Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings films. I'm not even talking about the Hobbits. I'm just talking about the Lord of the Rings films. Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King. Hated them. He thought they were a disgrace. But Christopher Tolkien died a couple of years ago. And now, as the article points out, and Peter Jackson mentions, it looks like the younger members of the family are more open to the ideas of returning. And while Grandpappy Christopher, I keep wanting to say, whenever I say Christopher, I want to say Nolan. Grandpappy Christopher Tolkien maybe did not reflect the same opinions and views and ideas that the younger members of the family have. And it sounds like they are much more open to doing this, which opens the door for Peter Jackson to come back. Now, listen, Peter Jackson, I mean, he's been noticeably absent from the director's chair for a very, very long time. The making of the Hobbit films was traumatic on him. He was never supposed to be the director of those. It's just that things got pushed so late that Guillermo del Toro finally had to leave. He couldn't put off his other obligations any longer, and it left them with no choice but for Peter Jackson to step and direct them. They split the movie into 3 instead of 1. I could understand The Hobbit being 2 films. I really think The Hobbit films would have worked much better as 2. I could totally see 2. But doing 3 was never a great idea. Never a great idea. And so in he comes, and he directs those that he was never planning on directing, and it nearly wrecked him. Nearly wrecked him. But he's always kept his hand in the Lord of the Rings universes, right? I'll say this. I still really consider the Silmarillion to be absolutely unfilmable. I still consider it to be unfilmable. But that being said, guys, we want to take a second and thank a sponsor of today's video, Hims. You know, one of the hardest things about trying to lose weight is just figuring out what actually works, because we've seen them all. There are a million trends, diets, and gimmicks out there, and honestly, it can get overwhelming. And that's why weight loss by Hims really stands out. Hims now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill at its lowest price ever, and the Wegovy pen. With Wegovy at Hims, lose up to 20% or more of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite and eat less, so success is within reach. Plus, Wegovy is the first ever and only GLP-1 available in a pill for weight loss, so there are no needles needed. And the process is extremely convenient. Everything happens online. You connect with a licensed provider who determines if treatment is right for you, and if prescribed, your medication gets delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. Ready to reach your goals? Visit hims.com/Campea to get a personalized, affordable plan that gets you. That's HIMS.com/Campea. hims.com/Campea. Based on advertised cash price for 30-day supply of medication only. Membership required, fee not included, and billed separately. Weight loss by Hims is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk A.S. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit hims.com. If there's anybody I would trust to even take a shot at it, giving him tons of time, not all of a sudden shotgun wedding at it like he was with the Hobbit films, but give him all the time in the world for him and Fran and his other partners, creative partners, to actually structure something that could work on film. If there's anybody I think could do it, it is, and it is only, Peter Jackson. That's it. He's the only guy. And I'm not even 100% sure that even he can do it, because again, if you don't know, man, if you've got some free time and laser focus, go try reading the Silmarillion. Number one, it's not an easy read. It's rich and it's glorious, but it's not an easy read, not a casual read. I mean, you got to be focused when you're reading that, and go read that and tell me how easily you think that could be filmed. It's not easy, man. I just don't think it can actually be done. But again, if there is anybody that could do it, it's this guy. It's this guy. The Lord of the Rings films, the original 3. Again, take out the Hobbit movies. Take those out of it for a second. And you're right, Brad Jackson. It is not for those with ADHD. It is absolutely not a book for those. The Lord of the Rings films collectively, one could argue, might be the greatest films ever made. Now, to me, it's Star Wars. The original trilogy of Star Wars combined is the greatest film ever made. But when you go back and watch the Lord of the Rings films even today, it's jaw-dropping how good it is. Because you even take it out of the fantasy element. I mean, just the drama of it, the character depth, the performances, the writing, like everything about these movies, so good. To the point that I contend, I've always said this, and some people argue with me, and that's fine, it's a subjective thing, but to me, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, when you factor in all of the individual disciplines that go into making a movie, costuming, makeup, writing, music, acting, cinematography, lighting, directing, producing, like when you just take all the many disciplines that go into making a movie, I don't know if there's ever been a better example than Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, which is why it was nominated for 11 Academy Awards and it won 11 Academy Awards, which still to this day, no movie ever in history has ever won more. And all that's because of Peter Jackson. And I believe all three films were nominated for Best Picture. The only other trilogy, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, correct me if I'm wrong, the only other trilogy to ever have all three films nominated for Best Picture, I believe, was The Godfather. I think The Godfather is the only one to ever do it. Now, if Dune 3 gets nominated for Best Picture, then we'll have three members of that club. But yeah, I think it's The Godfather, and I think it's Lord of the Rings. A nearly impossible book to film. Yes. A little too heady and ethereal to play out on screen. Yeah. But again, man, if there is anybody who would be able to do it, it's Elijah Wood. No, it's Peter Jackson. He's the guy to do it. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Peter Jackson is actually saying him and the Tolkien estate are now friendly again, and he's looking like sources like the Silmarillion may actually be back on the menu, boys. What do you think about this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.